going to talk about 10 simple steps to optimizing your online marketing videos so your customers will find you instead of finding your competition. Now, you can have the greatest content, the greatest videos in the world, but if nobody is able to actually find you, it's not going to do you any good, and it's not going to do your potential customers any good either. So I want to warn you that when it comes to organic video marketing, it's going to take three things: time, consistency, and engagement. This isn't one of those one simple trick types of videos here. It's going to take a lot of time to get yourself to rank and to get your videos to be found. But if you consistently go through these steps and you're optimizing your videos properly, then you're going to put yourself in the best position to get found by your customers quickly. So before we go into the steps, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the definitions I may be using, just so everybody kind of knows where we're at. So there's going to be 5 parts that we talk about. Obviously, this is the video up front. It's the video that you upload. Second thing we'll talk about is the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the video still image people will see in the right-hand column when they're looking at videos. This thumbnail can determine whether people want to click and watch your video or not. Third is your title. Fourth is going to be your description. Your description is under the title and can hold up to 5,000 characters. And then finally, we'll be talking about tags. So let's go ahead and get started by talking about finding your title. So there are 2 things to consider when finding the right title. First off, you want to think about your keyword for SEO purposes. And then secondly, you want to create an eye-popping headline that's going to go ahead and solve a problem for the person who's searching for you. So when it comes to identifying your keyword, you always want to think, do I want to be broad or do I want to be specific? And I was at a mastermind one time with Dan Kennedy at the Kentucky Derby. It was back in 2012. And we were talking about products and this and that, and I presented my product to him. And he had told me one of the concerns he had with it is that it was trying to appeal to everyone. And he told me that if you try to create a product that is everything to everybody, you'll probably have a product that has no value to anyone. And that is very true. And a lot of times that applies to trying to create a problem-solving article. See, if you want to write an article that satisfies every possible question that anyone would ever have, it'll be 1,000,000 characters and nobody would ever read it. So the best thing is to write about one or a couple specific problems, find the best long-tail keyword that best describes it, and use that. So it's better to be a little more specific than broad, as again, you're going to be able to identify and solve specific problems. So some of the tools to use to find out, hey, are these good keywords or not? We have them listed below. You can go ahead and click on them, or you can visit my blog and you can read more about it there. And again, as a rule of thumb, you want to keep it probably to about 70 characters. YouTube will take up to 100 characters, but if you go over 70, it's just going to kind of go ... and you're not going to see the entire title. Now, when it comes to creating eye-popping headlines that solve a problem, I always think that's such a vague statement. It's kind of like when people say, put out content quality. Well, what does that mean? Quality content. What does that mean? So to kind of help you with eye-popping headlines, there's 3 very popular types of headlines and titles to use for YouTube videos. One, ask questions and try to ask the same questions using the tools on the previous page that people are searching for. Secondly, use numbered lists. 7 simple ways to do this. 3, time-saving this. Use numbers. People like numbers. Numbers will kind of detail whether or not I'm going to get a quick answer or a long answer. It sets expectations for people. Once those expectations are met, they're more likely to sit through more of your video. And then thirdly, how-to. How-to is probably the most popular thing that people search for on YouTube. So if a lot of your videos are how-to based, you're probably going to have a lot of traction on your videos. So now that we've talked about video titles, let's talk about the description under. Now, one of the things that kind of frustrate me is I'll be on YouTube and I'll watch a video and I'll think, oh, this is pretty good. And I'll go into the description and there's nothing there, not even a link to a website. What a waste. Or even a lot of times, maybe there's a 10-minute video on something related to website development, and I have a specific problem that I need solved. I'll go into the description to see, okay, is there a hint? Are they going to actually solve this specific problem or not? And again, it's blank. There's nothing in there. So I skip and I go to something else to kind of help as a time saver. So that's why there's really two reasons why you want to have a good full description. One, it's good SEO. You're missing out SEO opportunities if you don't put stuff in your description. And two, you want to give that user the additional information needed so they can determine whether or not they want to invest the time to go ahead and watch the video. So some people may be looking at this saying, oh my gosh, 2,000 to 5,000 characters. First off, it's characters, not words. That's a big difference. So you can easily find out. What I like to do is before I do anything, I'll go ahead and open Microsoft Word. I'll type out whatever I'm going to type out, and then I can use the character finder tool, and it'll tell me how many characters that I have in there. So it's a good way to track. But some of the things that you can go ahead and do is you can actually, if you are writing a blog before you're doing a video, you can take excerpts of your blog out, put it in Microsoft Word, and you can use a lot of your blog for your description. So that's real easy to do. Now, if you're the type of person who likes to shoot the video, maybe you're doing more of a talking head video, you can always upload that video to YouTube and then take their transcriptions and then take the copy from that and put that into your description. So either way, it's not daunting. And then something that you could do that's really simple that I do as well is you can really set up your About Us in the YouTube channel defaults. So here's an example of mine. This here is not a lot of text, but this is over 900 characters. So right now, this just having a simple About Us in every one of your videos that's part of your default is going to take you 45% through the minimum. So when it comes down to it, it's really, really simple to come up with a full description of at least 2,000 characters. So above your channel defaults, a couple other tips is use a catchy opening and then add a link that goes back to your specific blog post or product or most relevant URL. And then when you're doing your specific description, go ahead and use plenty of relevant keywords to help optimize the video for both YouTube and Google as well, so you can be found in the search engines. And again, we talked about the channel defaults. So now let's go into tags. Tags are where you come up with specific keywords to help be relevant so people can find your videos in YouTube. So again, you want to be relevant and specific, and this is where I have a lot of problems as well. So in this article, I'm talking about ways to optimize your online marketing videos. I don't want to go into YouTube 101. I don't want to go into giving tips on how to shoot a video. I don't want to go into giving tips on what kind of equipment you should use and things like that. That's not relevant. And if I just go YouTube, if I just go online marketing, that is so broad that I'm not going to be, this probably won't answer anybody's question. So be specific, be relevant, use Microsoft Word so you can test how many characters you have. And then also in your channel defaults, again, you can put tags in there. And always use your business name and your name as well. Because, hey, what the heck? If somebody's looking you up, it's not bad to have these videos following you. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about thumbnails. Now, if I said titles were the most important things, maybe that's number 1A. If that's 1A, then 1B would be your video thumbnail. And having a video thumbnail in the search results can double your search traffic according to Search Engine Journal. So it really is that important. Here are a couple of tips. Use a human face in your thumbnail, preferably one that's looking at you and one that's showing a strong emotion. So you're going to have text on there, and let the face kind of tell the emotion behind the text. So if you're talking about, 7 ways to deal with stress during the holidays, you don't want to have a person in the realtor pose who looks nice and relaxed with a good smile and their arms crossed. No, you want to have a face and a facial expression that's going to go ahead and really put to life the text that you have. Avoid putting your text in the very top or the very bottom, as in different platforms and stuff, the text will be covered up by certain things that YouTube does. Make sure the text is large enough to read, and this is especially important with more and more people using YouTube for their phones. Use bright backgrounds with contrasting colors and outlines. So here's a couple of examples of thumbnails that I like that got my attention when I was looking for this. Here in the top left, you have school life hacks that you need to know. And then look at the thumbnail, you have a student who's in school, and they obviously look stressed, like there's somebody who needs a life hack. Second one is how to Minecraft. I'm not sure what Minecraft is, but hey, if I wanted to learn how to do it, this would be a video I would click. I like the example of contrasting colors there. You have purple with green, and again, the text is very simple and succinct. It tells you what you're going to get if you click on that. Third one here, anxiety Q&A. You have probably your target market there for this channel, sitting here tapping their brain. Hey, questions and answers. You want to pick her brain about anxiety. Again, you know exactly what you're going to get here. Best books of 2015, you have a person looking right at you holding a book and the title. Very easy. Here you have an interview, and you know the people involved with the interview, hopefully. Otherwise, it's not going to be very valuable if you don't know either of these two individuals. Tells you what it is, exclusive. And then thumbnail, I again like the contrasting images on this. And again, it kind of looks like this person is a little stressed about how to create a YouTube thumbnail. They're not really sure about it. So it's one of those things that really personifies the text. Now we want to go ahead and talk about transcriptions. A lot of people say, hey, Tom, doesn't YouTube already do this for me already? Yeah, they do, but they don't do it perfectly. And unfortunately, the areas that they're going to screw up are going to be the most important ones. If you have a unique name, they're going to mess up your name on the transcription. If you have a unique spelling or sounding product, that's what they're going to mess up. If you have a keyword that you're trying to rank for, chances are that's where there's going to be an error. I was at an American Marketing Association meeting recently in Phoenix, and this other marketer was telling me a horror story about how she was doing work for a realtor, and the realtor was talking about the escrow process. Only problem? YouTube's transcriptions thought they were talking about an ass grow process, and that is obviously not what that realtor wants to be known for, and it's not the keyword for which they want to rank. So going through, downloading it from YouTube, making edits and corrections, and then re-uploading again can go ahead and make you seem a lot more professional and help you take advantages of the SEO benefits that come with transcriptions. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about a little bit of a bonus SEO keyword tip that probably 95% of the marketers don't know or utilize. And you're going to have a lot of assets that you create when you're doing videos and, not just on YouTube, but also on other social channels. And when you have these assets, it's a great opportunity for you to go ahead and use the keyword as the name of your assets. So for example, when you create a video, when you save it, it's going to come up with a random characters and numbers .mp4. Well, you can always rename that, and you can rename it for your keyword. So again, if this was optimizing online marketing videos, I would rename my YouTube video my long tail keyword .mp4. When I do a thumbnail and I create that, I'll change that. Instead of having a random name to it, I'll actually name it my long tail keyword .png. Same thing with transcriptions. You could do it .txt. If you want to go ahead and strip out the audio because you do podcasts, you can rename the MP3 file according to your long tail keyword. And if you like doing slide shares, so you can take your PowerPoint and rename that .ppt and then upload to SlideShare. So these are great little SEO tips. They're tips that basically are only going to it's not going to affect the user. Only the Google bots are going to see these things. And anytime that you can have Google bots see stuff and it doesn't affect user enjoyment, well, that's a good SEO thing. Now we're going to talk a little bit about YouTube cards. Cards are those things that pop up during a video that users can go ahead and click on, and they can go somewhere. They can go to a video, another specific video or playlist. They can go to a different channel if you want to do that. If you're raising donations, you can go ahead and have them go to the donation site. If you find that you're losing people at a certain spot, you may want to put a poll. And put a poll to encourage people to interact. And then once they engage with the poll, it may keep them around for another 45 to 60 seconds. And then finally, you can have a link to an approved website off YouTube. So creating cards are super simple. When you're setting everything up, you have an opportunity to go to the cards channel, and then you can figure out exactly where you want to put the card. Then you can put a little image up there and the copy that's associated with it. Whoa, okay, there we go. Now, cards, they work well when they're placed in conjunction with scripted call to actions, or when they're relevant to your video content. So if you're mentioning a specific video or a piece of merchandise, then you can have a card that pops up. They could click on that, and they could actually go to that specific video, or even better, go to the merchandise page. So you can also use, if you've been running a YouTube channel for a long time, especially if you're in the social media network, things update. So you could actually go back to some of your older videos, and you could put in a card to say, hey, updated information on this topic here, click here. And then they could go to one of your newer videos. So if you have videos that may be a little obsolete, you can actually update them with cards and encourage people who find those videos, because of the SEO value, to watch them and then click to your newer videos. You can also use part of a video, or actually, like I said, and I talked about this a little bit, you could put a poll up in a spot where people tend to drop off. So if you're noticing around the 45-second mark, people are dropping off, you can put a poll there. And that might help keep them a little longer. And then finally, you can link to a website, but there's a couple of steps. You have to be part of the YouTube Partner Program. And there's a link here that talks about what that is. Those rules are always changing, so I'm not going to go into that. But basically, if you're just starting up your channel, you're probably not going to be able to link somebody back to your website right away. You can utilize end screens, and those are a powerful tool which can help you extend the watch time of somebody on your channel, because basically you're going to use the last 5 to 20 seconds of that video to go ahead and encourage them to either go to another video or subscribe, or if you're lucky enough to be able to be a YouTube partner, you could send it to your channel. So there's a lot of things that you could do here with end screens, but it gives you an extra 5 to 20 seconds where you basically just have that call to action up there. Now you can create an optimized playlist as well. So I want you to think of a playlist on YouTube as, think of it as like music. Let's say you have a music video that you put up there that you like, and you have music videos in all different types of genres. What you'd want to do for a playlist is you probably have a playlist where you have everything sorted and categorized by country music, or by rock music, and then by jazz music, or whatever else that you want to do. You probably have 8 different types. Well, if somebody comes to your channel because they're listening to country music, chances are they'd want to listen to another country music song next. And if you put it in a playlist, you can keep them on that same playlist to where they'd have the same commonality. And that's kind of what you want to do with your YouTube channel, is you want to go ahead and categorize it using playlists. So here's an example of a real estate client I have, and he's got, this is a very old channel, it's been around for a long time, but he categorizes it by testimonials. So he's got all sorts of testimonials, people talking about him. He has several real estate networking clubs, so he's got excerpts of his real estate networking clubs of him out there speaking. He's got one of his products, so he's got clips from his products up there. Then he's got how-to real estate. He's got clips of him talking about certain things about real estate investing. Then he's got specific how to flip a house. And if you're able to keep scrolling, you'd have short sales, and you have subject to, and all these different types of strategies you would use in real estate investing. So the great thing is, if you're going up there and you want to watch something about flipping houses, you could go to the categories about flipping houses and watch all sorts of things in there. If you want to know, hey, is this guy legit? You could go to his testimonials, listen to all sorts of testimonials. So he's got it organized very well, and that helps people who are looking for something specific. Well, it helps them solve a problem, and the great thing too is it keeps them on your channel, and you get more minutes and more time, and that gives you more relevance in the eyes of YouTube. Now you can also optimize your playlist on YouTube. Simply go here. Under your playlist, you can optimize the name of it, and then you can put descriptions and you can put tags on it as well. So I'd recommend taking the time to do this, because this is going to help people find you. Now, the first 8 steps have been about how you optimize the video to get it on your site and how you optimize your page. Now, these next 2 steps are really going to be about what do you do to get people to see it. So the first step is embed it on a blog. Why? It's going to keep people from bouncing off your blog immediately. They'll see something different. Chances are, if you're on my blog and you're watching this video, it's because you scrolled down and saw, oh my gosh, there's 3,000 words on this blog. It's way too long to read. So you decided to watch the video instead. That's great. I'm giving you a better experience, and you're staying on my blog page longer. So, that's a real good reason to embed a video. Doing so is super simple. Again, you can look it up, but in many cases, just taking the URL and putting it on your blog, and that'll get the video up there. Sometimes you may have to take the embed code and put that on your blog. That's up there as well, so you can kind of play around with how that works. But it's super simple to do, and again, every time you link your blog to your video and your video to your blog, then if you promote your blog, you're driving more legitimacy and SEO strength to your YouTube channel as well. So now one of the questions a lot of people will ask is, which social network should I use? And that really depends on who your audience is. If you have something more business, it might make sense for you to be on LinkedIn a lot more. If you have something that's more consumer oriented and visual, especially if you have an e-commerce sense, Pinterest is going to make a lot more sense. Twitter may be good for you as well. Twitter may not. Most cases, Facebook is pretty good. In real estate, especially if you're an investor, probably not quite as good, because you have a revolving audience all the time. So they may not be the best thing. But it's really something you got to figure out. But if you're going to go on Facebook and LinkedIn, it's best to direct the video and upload the video directly to the channel rather than your YouTube link. The reason why is that basically the algorithms are going to reward an uploaded video so much more significantly than a link to LinkedIn or a link to YouTube, I should say. They're just not going to reward those videos with a lot of viewership. So it's better to upload and then put a link back to your blog. And again, people will go to your blog and then maybe they'll go to your YouTube channel from there. So that's a good thing to do. If you're on Twitter and Pinterest, rather than just doing the video, try linking the actual YouTube playlist, because chances are if somebody likes one video in that playlist, they might like a lot more in there as well, and that can help get you a lot more people, a lot more viewer time, and people who want to subscribe. So in summary, you want to go ahead and create videos that are really designed to solve problems or answer a specific questions. That's going to be the goal, and you never really want to vary that or try sacrificing that in the name of SEO. Make good quality content and then optimize based on that content, and you're going to be in really, really good shape. Some of these things that I talk about, they may seem like long and arduous tasks, but you can really outsource a lot of them, especially if you're the type of person who just likes to talk, like you don't mind being recorded. You can go ahead and put a video in front of you, send that video to somebody, and somebody else can take the transcriptions and they can make the blog. And then once they make the blog, they can link everything, and then they can go ahead and distribute it for you. And all you got to do is worry about creating 4 blogs a month. Heck, you could do that just in one day, and you have a great distribution content marketing distribution plan in place, and somebody else can run that. But the most important thing, be consistent. It may take you a couple months to really see that you're getting followers and subscribers and stuff, but keep at it. Because once you really get legitimate and YouTube thinks you're for real and you hit their minimum views and you're getting a lot of subscribers, it's going to start avalanche. It's just going to be an avalanche of viewers and subscribers, and it's really, really going to pay off. It's not going to pay off overnight, but it will in the long term. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to go to my blog. It's sinovasolutions.com/blog. And we put out blogs every so often, really designed to help solve problems in regards to digital marketing, pay-per-click, and content distribution. Thanks a lot. Bye.